How are you? There you go. Count, mate. Count before you say something.
You're still
Underage. Exactly. You're the one asking the question here. You're the one that said I was underage.
So when you say this is underage, you're actually underage to buy alcohol.
Yeah. Underage buying alcohol.
Yeah. And smoke.
Buy smoke. But the smoke cities only in the system. Well, you're not underage for pedophilia and to be snatched.
Oh well.
The bill goes, oh well, I'll go back at 14 views.
Each bit of dialogue must be tailored to the person your character is created. Make sure to practice reading the speeches aloud so you can avoid making silly mistakes. Don't make your character say too much at once. So don't make it more than a couple of sentences long. Keep it short and direct and to the point. If it is necessary, if need be, to use ungrammatical speech and to make it change or change the type of speech based on your character's personality and background. Don't be afraid of the simple he said, she said, but obviously if they're saying it a particular way, like whispering, shouting, screaming, what else is another one? What's another way of saying, what's another, no, like what's another word for like whispers, screamed, shouted? Because you're not going to respond to, they used in a monotone voice. In a conversation.
Well, it might be when you're like talking about Alan or
so that's fine. And then obviously don't keep their dialogue going on for too long. End it where necessary to move on. Okay. We'll skip the rest. So
what's that?
let's read some of the other checklist dot points to make sure you include in your writing. So words spoken must go in inverted commas. Obviously, it's different in other aspects of creative writing, like comic strips where they have voice bubbles, but in your written work, you will use inverted commas because that will identify what is being said and by who. Each new speaker is to be given a new line. I don't know how many times I had to tell my classes in the last few years, but for some reason they like to put a whole dialogue conversation between characters into one paragraph, and that's not how it works. New line for every speaker, even if the word is just okay, said Tom. Each speech begins with a capital letter and ends with a full stop. Obviously, punctuation marks, which are part of a sentence in the speech, are placed inside the inverted commas. So question marks go on the inside, as well as exclamation points.
Again?
You separate. I feel like this is super basic common knowledge. Hopefully, we'll see. To separate speech from narrative, don't forget your comma, unless. Oh no. So even when it says Benjamin said, comma, then you'll have the dialogue. So there's examples there for you. And then it is common in print for the speeches to be indented. Obviously, you can't do that in your writing. so that is okay.
Oops.
So just new line, remember your grammar, so your punctuation marks and your commas, which we will practice. I reckon we'll do one now. Let's do a practice one. Can you turn over to the assignments page?
Listen 14, I'm missing.
Yeah, so it says assignment. It's not an actual assignment, obviously. Alright, let's practice one of these bad boys. Can you... Ooh. Oh yeah, let's do number A. Alright, everyone get your pen out. You're practicing dialogue. Between, it can be 2 or 3 characters. It's okay, it's up to you to choose. However, it's all about structure. So, the first one is choose 2 of the following situations
I am the
and
man.
construct short passages of dialogue to develop the scene. Your stimuli is A. Angry and complaining customers in a restaurant. Feel free to call your customer Karen if you wish.
Oh, that's so funny.
Or Simpson, whatever.
Oh,
That's
funny meme.
boring. Yeah. Yeah. So you'll have to obviously think about what kind. There's obviously a negative interaction. So what is the customer going to complain about? How you're going to keep it straight to the point. Obviously, you still need to have the whole Karen stomped her way over to the front counter, and you just immediately I knew I was going to be in for a terrible time or something, and then start your dialogue with Karen yelling at you or something. You don't have to use capital letters to show that they're angry. Just put your exclamation points to really drive home that. Alright, so let's have a go at doing that. I'll give you a couple of minutes to brainstorm, and then for the remainder, what time's the bell go?
Like 10:56.
What's better, Luke?
Oh.
Have one
We don't have a
that's really high level or not? Something
Alright, we'll
like
use the
medium
rest of
level?
this lesson to brainstorm, and then next lesson,
Yeah, I thought
you're
so.
going to write out your dialogue theme.
That magnum
Oh, and then
brain. Wow. My extra large my magnum. I hate it when that happens.
So you're in a restaurant.
It's so annoying.
Maybe she
That's so
found a hair in the food. Maybe it was too cold or too hot. You can make it as dramatic as you like. Maybe she's not happy about the serving size, or it's too expensive, because we all know Karen's like to complain about price. Or they've waited too long for their meals. What's happening?
I really wish this pen was strong enough to the point where if I headbutted with full force, it wouldn't just break. Yeah. Wait a minute. What?
Uh,
8,000. Do I even have? Oh, I can fit more than 88. Dr. Seuss or what? Dr. Seuss. I mean, the guy that's been dead for 15 years.
Feel free to.
But anyway, that just doesn't matter how long I've been dead.
Experience.
They cancelled Genghis Khan.
I fucking Genghis Khan. What do you call it?
Genghis Khan.
What do you call it? Genghis Khan?
Genghis Khan. Did I say Genghis?
You said Genghis.
I said Genghis?
Yeah, it's Genghis.
I did not say Genghis.
You said Genghis or Genghis Khan.
Did I say Genghis?
I got it on video.
Fuck.
What? Got it on video.
don't
You
even
said
know how-
Genghis Khan.
How do you... Is the video just your barracks operating?
It's just.
This is 3 minutes to the bell. We're not packing up. It doesn't take 3 minutes to pack up. Undo.
3 minutes.
No, it doesn't.
Why?
Keep
What
brainstorming. Hurry
was
up.
it cancelled for again?
I don't know. Racist undertones. That's what Isaac said.
What's the dialogue?
I mean, not Isaac.
Upgrading my barracks, lol.
I've actually got 4 minutes of PUBG
Excuse you.
downloaded.
What did I just say?
But then I've got
You
4
obviously
minutes
need
of
that.
PUBG downloaded. I'm gonna put
Open
it
your
back
book.
on. So I'm gonna edit it.
Both of you, open your books and keep writing.
Like I just need to play.
Aiden.
You need to be able to edit your video so you can put epic dumpstick in the background.
I don't want to put epic
You
dubstep.
need like an
back
epic like Minecraft YouTube intro.
there. I don't want that. No.
I gotta make him an intro, don't I? Should upload your epics a collector.
I don't know. I didn't make it.
That one. I did.
Oh.
Delete.
No,
Oh, I wouldn't worry about it then. Well, he's got no choice.
Callum, I'm like your channel manager. At me.
Of course. What else would it be about?
Yeah, that's right. I'm talking to you, Kira.
So she did a thing about
Talking to you.
you said you can work, not done well. She said no. It would work if all the letters are super. You were a Putin mouse above 3.0.
And then in between there, Caden, I don't know, Caden said
He has
something.
been muted, like communism should be okay. And yes, communism.
Communism ain't the way to go. Not pure
I
communism.
haven't told her about the monkeys yet.
Boys, inside the door.
Oh, I have maths now? Oh, so. Oh boy, maths. More like
Wait, you don't like that?
unrecord. I'm gonna
Like,
have
it
an,
literally just like talk about it.
I'm gonna have an hour-long video of Clash of Clans.
Is that actually RLM?
Not yet. Well, you're just gonna have it open. Just gonna have it open while I. It's gonna destroy my data.
Your battery's gonna get like instant.
You're not gonna make it feel like food. I'm not gonna.
What if he believes?
Yep.
Fucking moaning.
Why are they waiting? Why are they always?
I think that was right.
Oh.
Oh my god. You are so incompetent.
Oh,
Did you write
just ran into the wall. Just ran into the wall with my folders.
It
I
was
just
a lock. Yeah, it was
the lock. I ran into the lock with my folders, and now they're broken.
broken.
It's
You just
broken.
Chipped the wall in it. Chipped the fucking hole in it.
Yeah, which means it's broken.
It's damaged. It
are
can
you
work.
doing? Nah, it's broken. Listen,
If
if I would
broken,
have,
does it work?
if I would have like just grab a chunk out of your leg bone, would your leg be broken? Yeah, it would.
No, I'd have a leg injury.
It would be broken.
I would have a leg injury.
If I just hit your leg with a hammer and then took out a piece of bone, your leg would be broken.
No, my bone would be broken.
Oh my god.
The bone.
Yeah, so the folder's broken because I'm not even gonna.
Callum, if I break your collarbone, does that mean your like fucking torso's broken?
No, it means my collarbone's broken.
Exactly. You've got a neck injury.
Your collarbone isn't your neck. It's like near. It's near it, but it's not near it.
Callum, it's near your shoulder.
Oh, I got appendicitis. That means my dick doesn't work anymore. Hey, Danico, guess what I'm doing? I made Untitled Prank 4. Guess what I'm doing? Recording.
Alright, I met some parents at Parent Teacher Tuesday. It was wonderful to see so many parents out. If your parents didn't come, encourage them next year to come. Surprised how much you learn about students through the parent. Okay? Really important. We are going to start a whole new unit today. Okay? But a little housekeeping. In order to
Doing maths.
completely finish the last unit, you need to have done all of the classes.
Fix this.
Except
doesn't
Press cancel shutdown.
You see my mouth?
Yeah. Well,
you need to have done all your
just shit.
class and had a go at the
I crashed it.
quiz. Okay, so there is a topic test at the end.
which is full.
Alright, so make sure that's complete.
Miss
Also-
Kyria did not respond to this is coming.
Your question bank is important.
Town Hall Level 4 recommended for this
What's
fight.
happened is we want you to
That's
be able to research
cringe.
it, but it looks like because it's this assignment, you can only do it one time. So I've just set the assignment twice. Okay, So if you want to have a redo, just go to the second assignment and redo it, okay? Then if you want a third, I'll set a third assignment. So basically the first one is mandatory, you have to have at least one go at it, but you can have as many goes as you like, but every time you have a go, you're going to have to set it as a new assignment for you, okay? And that just means that I'll then give you the highest mark of all the assignments you've attempted, all right? So in your books now, Assignment 2 is available. It's exactly the same quiz. So if you want to have another go at it, go through that portal, okay? And then if you want a third, let me know and I'll set another one. All right, apart from that, Danica, I haven't forgotten you. You want to look at tax, I'll do that a bit later, okay? And apart from that, we're going to start a brand new topic right here. It's a very challenging one, okay? So we started you off with something a little bit friendly, which is financial mathematics, okay? This one is formulae and equations, okay? This is in your notebook now. You have, I'm talking fast, it's really rude to talk over the top of me, isn't it? What? All right. Lesson 1 is substitution. So we're going to start you off real easy, just looking at what an equation is and how to substitute values into it. So that we get into the good habits, I would like to do the following writing, not this one. This is the lessons we're going to go through in a 3-week period, okay? So for over the next 3 weeks, we will do these topics. Sorry, 3A? Yes, this is the one for today. I'm going to get you to write the following stuff down, which is what the four substitution, learning intention, and success criteria. Thank you, everybody. Oh, Tess, just as well, I have these for you.
Go Power Ranger.
I feel like a Power Ranger.
You're built like a Power Ranger.
You feel like a Power Ranger. Oh shit. Can you ever just your statistics?
No, not Beatles.
Alright, so just to recap, we're going to learn how to substitute numerical values into a formula and evaluate. Pop a hand up if you don't know any of those words.
Find an epic
All
battle.
good? Evaluate means calculate. Evaluate? Evaluate means come up with an answer, a numerical answer to a question. So it means calculate or add up, multiply, that kind of thing.
Sure, why not? I'll do
So at the end, we want an answer.
Are you uploading this every day?
So we want to write an algebraic expression that from all the letters in it. We're then going to replace the letters with numbers. We're then going to get our calculator. Alright, these are all in your notebooks. All the exercises we need to do are on the board behind you under the formulae and equations sign. Alright, so that's what we're going to be working through in the next 3 weeks. And as you can see, the class test and question bank will be due on the 26th of March.
Yeah, okay, buddy.
Brady, you still have a no device, right?
No device, yes. Oh, mate. Oh, yeah. Start thinking. Oh, that. No.
We want to make sure you all have the materials to support your learning.
That must suck.
Suits some people. Some people prefer to work from home. Tabs.
I go get my laptop.
Yeah, sure.
I'll go.
Alright, so each lesson, I think it's really good to have these success criteria just so that we know how we're going.
Yeah.
So if we cannot evaluate, that's something that we need to put a cross next to at the end because it's something we need to work on. But if we can do it, we put a tick.
Daddy, ba, when you got ba.
Yeah, where's my charge?
You can go put that on charge.
Hả? Nào, vậy đúng rồi. Đi qua trên bạn. Đang gặp tụi bà vậy. Ai kết quan là.
Alright, while you're writing, is everybody's on top of their completion of the first unit rates, correct?
Hell no.
Hell no.
No.
Taz, you're okay, right?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
alright.
I think so. Now would be a good time to come to me and give me a plan for completion if you're off target in any way. I'm pretty sure everybody's pretty solid.
What did you talk about hardcore, right? Then we just left around from the group. Shut up, man.
How many words have you got left to write? Yes.
One.
One dot done. Who's still writing?
Me.
How many words left?
4.
Sorry, 2.
42.
Brady can talk for himself.
Well, I said 42. I was just passing it over.
72. You can't have that many words left.
Yeah.
Hurry, Brady.
Alright, then I'll finish it.
Okay, so this is just a reference for you, marking off the end of the lesson to say A5. Today, we will be replacing pronumerals, which is the letters,
Replacing pronouns.
numbers, and then calculating. Okay, so just sort of like starting off a little bit. Do you want to watch a video, or should we just plow on?
So easy, John. Watch video.
Want to watch it? Yes?
Yeah,
Okay,
let's watch it,
so
Jessica.
what is algebra?
Woo!
Okay.
Oh, I can't wait.
Let's see if this enlightens us a little bit.
Algebra.
Why does it always go to that? I don't know.
A pretty time bomb.
Good time. I can't. I don't know what you're
Luke, do you want to turn the light on for us?
Hi, this is Rob. Welcome to Daddy.
Upgrade.
This lesson, we're going to learn some really important things about branches of algebra. The first thing you need to know is that algebra is a lot like arithmetic. It follows
Now,
all
focus
the
on
rules,
Rob, please.
and it uses the same 4 main operations that arithmetic is built on: addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. But algebra introduces a new element, the element of the unknown. When you were learning arithmetic, the only thing that was ever unknown was the answer to the problem. For example, you might have the problem 1 plus 2 equals what? The answer isn't known until you go ahead and do the arithmetic. Now, the important thing about algebra is that when we don't know what a number is yet, we use a symbol in its place. That symbol is usually just any letter of the alphabet. A really popular letter to choose is the letter X. So in arithmetic, we would just leave the problem like this: 1 plus 2 equals blank. And we'd write in the answer when we did the addition. But in algebra, we'd write it like this: 1 plus 2 equals X. The X is a placeholder that stands for the number that we don't know yet. What we have here is a very basic algebraic equation. An equation is just a mathematical statement that 2 things are equal. An equation says the things on this side of the equal sign have the same value as the things on the other side of the equal sign. In this case, our equation is telling us that the known values on this side, 1 plus 2, are equal to what's on the other side, which happens to be the unknown value that we're calling X. One of the main goals in algebra is to figure out what the unknown values in equations are. And when you do that, it's called solving the equations. In this equation, it's pretty easy to see that the unknown value is just 3. All you have to do is actually add the 1 and 2 together on this side of the equation, and it turns into 3 equals X, which is the same as X equals 3. So now we know what X is. It's just 3. That almost seems too easy, doesn't it? That's why in algebra, you're usually given an equation more complicated. This is exactly the same equation as 1 plus 2 equals X, but it's been rearranged so that it's not quite as easy to tell what X is. So in algebra, solving equations is a lot like a game where you're given mixed up, complicated equations, and it's your job to simplify them, rearrange them until they're nice simple equations, like X equals 3. where it's easy to tell what the unknown values are. We're going to learn a lot more about how to actually do that, how to solve equations, in the next several videos. But for now, let's learn some important rules about how symbols can and can't be used in algebra.
Alright, this is important. This is how
The
symbols
first rule
get
we need
used.
to know is that the same symbol or letter can be used in different algebra problems to stand for different unknown values. For example, in the problem we just solved, the letter X was used to stand for the number 3, right? And X could stand for a different number in a different problem. Like if someone asked us to solve the equation 5 plus X equals 10. In order for the two sides of this equation to be equal, X must have a
say
value
6,
5 in this one.
Yes, I
It's 5 plus 5 equals 10. So X, or any other symbol, can stand for different values in different problems. That's okay. But what's not okay is for a symbol to stand for different values in the same problem at the same time. For example, what if you had the equation x plus x equals 10? This equation says that if we add x to x, we'll get 10. And there's a lot of different numbers that we can add together to get 10, like 6 and 4. But if we had the first x stand for 6, and the second x stand for 4, then x would stand for two different values at the same time, and things could get really confusing. If you wanted symbols to stand for two different numbers at the same time, you would need to use two different symbols, like x and y. So in algebra, whenever you see the same symbol repeated more than once in an equation, it's representing the same unknown value. Like if you see a really complicated algebraic equation like this, where x is repeated a lot of different times, all those x's stand for the same value, and it'll be your job to figure out what that value is. Okay, so for any particular equation, we can't use the same letter to represent two different numbers at the same time. But what about the other way around? Could we use two different letters to represent the same number? Yes, and here's an example of that. Let's say you have the equation a plus b equals 2. What could a and b stand for so that the equation is true?
0
Well,
and 2.
if a was 0 and b was 2, then the equation would be true. Or we could switch them around. If a was 2 and b was 0, the equation would also be true. But there's another possibility. If a was 1 and b was also 1, that would make the equation true, right? So even though a and b are different symbols and would usually be used to represent different numbers, there are times when they might happen to represent the same number. Oh, this problem can help us understand something very important about how symbols are used in algebra. Did you notice that there were different possible solutions for this equation? In other words, e could have a value 0, 1, or 2, depending on what the value of a was. If a is 0, then b must be 2. If a is 1, then b must be 1. And if a is 2, then b must be 0. E can't have two different values at the same time, but its value can change over time if the value of a changes. In algebra, e is what's called a variable because its value can vary or change. In fact, in this equation, both a and b are variables because their values will change depending on the value of each other. Actually, it's really common in algebra to refer to any letter as a variable, since letters can stand for different values in different problems. But in mathematics, we'll usually just use the word variable when we're talking about values that can change or vary in the same problem. Alright, so far we've learned that algebra is a lot like arithmetic, but that it includes unknown values and variables that we can solve for in equations. There's one other really important thing that I want to teach you that will help you understand what's going on in a lot of algebra problems, and it has to do with multiplication. Here are the 4 basic arithmetic operations: addition, subtraction, multiplication,
Guys,
and division.
pay attention to
In
this
algebra,
as well.
we usually
Bit
see
of notation.
written fractions.
Wow, wow,
Operations have but in algebra, default operation. That means if no other arithmetic operation is shown between two symbols, then you can just assume that they're being multiplied. Multiplication is important. For example, instead of writing a times b, you can leave out the time symbol and just write ab. Since no operation is shown between these two symbols, things in real life. For example, there's a whole class of equations in algebra called linear equations, because they form straight lines when you graph them. Those sorts of equations.
Alright, that's enough for today, fellas. I'll see you tomorrow.
Or tell you how long it will take to get somewhere. Another class of algebraic equations, called quadratic equations, can be used to design telescope lenses or describe how a ball flies through the air.